Ever stumble across an online review that just makes you go, whoa, hold on a minute, what went down
Yeah,
there?
like something's a little off.
Totally. And today, we've got a doozy for you. We're doing a deep dive into this one-star review, and it's a scorcher.
1 star. Ouch.
Right. It's about Marks and Spencer, the big British retailer written by a former sales assistant. But here's the thing, it's not just your average I hated my boss rant. This thing's got layers and it hints at some potentially deeper issues going on behind the scenes at M&S.
Juicy. So what makes this particular review stand out? Give us the lowdown.
So it's not just the fact that it's a one-star review, which, let's be real, those always grab your attention. It's the way this former employee lays out their experience. They don't hold back. Strong language, accusations, the works.
Oh, this is going to be good. Lay it on us.
Yeah. Okay, so the reviewer starts off strong. Like, first line, they hit you with literally the worst experience of my life.
Wow, okay. Talk about starting with a bang.
Right. Not exactly subtle. So already we're seeing a lot of raw emotion here, which, as we know, can be a sign of deeper issues, right?
Absolutely. People don't usually resort to that kind of language unless they felt genuinely wronged or deeply unhappy.
Mm.
So there's definitely more to unpack here. What else did they say?
Okay, so the reviewer, they're a 19-year-old former sales assistant, and they start describing this toxic work environment. Specifically, they call out older female colleagues as being, and I'm quoting here, cliquey, and saying they seem to think they own the place.
Oof. Sounds like a classic case of generational clash in the workplace. You see this kind of tension play out quite often, especially in fields like retail, where you have a diverse age range among employees.
Yeah, you can practically picture the eye rolls and the hushed gossip at the cash register. But then it takes a turn.
A turn? How so?
So the reviewer talks about needing a day off work to adjust to new antidepressants, and they claim that the management reacted really poorly to this, like suggesting that if the medication was going to make them miss work, maybe they should stop taking it.
Whoa, hold up. That's a huge E red flag. We're talking potential legal and ethical violations here, not to mention incredibly insensitive and dismissive of mental health.
Exactly. It really highlights the power dynamics that come into play in these situations, right? A younger employee new to the workforce might feel pressured to go along with something like that just to keep their job.
Absolutely. It's a really difficult position to be in, especially when you're dealing with something as personal and as complex as mental health. So what was M&S's response to all of this? I'm guessing they didn't just ignore a public accusation like that.
They didn't. They actually issued a statement, and I'm just going to read it here.
Go for it.
Okay, so they say, we're sorry to hear this. It doesn't sound like the way we do things at M&S. We take all allegations of this nature extremely seriously. Okay, standard corporate response so far, right?
Pretty textbook.
But then they continue. Our colleagues are our greatest asset, and we strive to create a welcoming and inclusive working environment for everyone. We strongly encourage the colleague to contact our line manager advisory team, who can offer confidential support and guidance on this matter.
Interesting. So on the one hand, they're expressing concern, emphasizing their values, all the right PR moves.
Right.
But there's also a subtle deflection tactic at play here.
How so?
Well, directing the reviewer to this internal team, it could be seen as a genuine attempt to address the issue internally. Give the employee a chance to share their experience, potentially take action.
Right, makes sense.
But it could also be a way to control the narrative, keep things in-house, maybe even sweep the problem under the rug a bit. It's hard to say without knowing more about this line manager advisory team and how effective they actually are at addressing these kinds of concerns.
That's true. So even just from this one review, without even hearing M&S's side of the story, it does feel like there's something bigger at play here, right?
Absolutely. I mean, this review, whether it paints the whole picture or not, it shines a light on some pretty significant issues.
Like what?
Well, for one, the power of employee voices, especially in the age of online reviews. One person's experience, shared online, it can have a ripple effect. It can influence other potential employees. It can shape public perception of the company, even impact their bottom line.
That's a good point. People definitely check those reviews, especially for big companies like M&S.
Exactly. And it forces companies to confront their internal culture, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Are they fostering a positive, supportive environment for their employees? Or are there systemic issues they need to address?
Makes you wonder what's happening behind the scenes at other companies, right? If this is what one person felt comfortable sharing publicly, what other stories aren't being told?
Exactly. And that's the big takeaway I hope people get from this deep dive. This isn't just about one bad review at one company. It's a reminder to pay attention to the company cultures you encounter in your own career journeys. What are people saying? How do employees feel? Are their values aligned with yours?
Because your experience at work, your well-being, it matters. And you have a voice.
100%. Don't be afraid to use it.
Well said. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder the hidden stories behind those online reviews. And maybe, just maybe, take a closer look at the company culture wherever you work or are considering working. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Until next time.